what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the stocks that I was trading today that will probably have some carryover into tomorrow. Now, we actually had a bunch of pretty decent setups today. If you're into listed stocks, you know, like NASDAQs and the like, we had a squeezer today that was absolutely insane. It's like the day 3 or day 4 of the move. I talked about this in my video yesterday, but there's probably gonna be some opportunities tomorrow on it, so I want you guys to keep an eye on that. There's that, and then we had some OTC runners, guys, that were just going insane. I mean, we had another pretty much 1000% runner. I think it hit 1000% on the day, and then had a really big fade off, so that one could potentially pop up again tomorrow, so I want to put that on your radar. And then I also started taking some swing trades today. Just took some entries with, you know, very close to the risk level that I'm risking, so I think they're pretty decent setups, and I just wanted to talk about them in case you guys feel like partaking, if that makes sense. So hopefully you guys will find this information helpful. As always, remember to smash that like button and drop a comment if there's anything, you know, you want to talk about. You know, if you want to talk about your favorite color, let me know what it is in the comments, and I'm happy to respond and let you know that I think it's a cool favorite color. And I will not be saying that to everyone. No, definitely just you. But yeah, let's dive in my computer, and I'll see you on the other side. Alright guys, so I'm here on my laptop, and this is the chart for MRIN, and I mentioned this yesterday because it's been going pretty crazy, man, but today it just absolutely blew the top off. So if I go to 5 days, 5 minutes, you can see this thing came from $1.56 and pretty much just accelerated faster and faster and faster and faster and faster until it got all the way up to 1882. So I mean, today was absolutely explosive. I think there were a lot of people who, you know, they saw this thing do this. Actually, that was a bad zoom. Let me try that again. They saw this thing do this and kind of open right here, and they're thinking, all right, this thing probably dumps back down and it's gonna be glorious, and I'm gonna make a lot of money shorting this thing. And you know, it had a spike. The classic spike right at open, the classic dump reject off of that. So common on, you know, setups like this. I think shorts really loaded in here. And then it came down, but then they just started ripping it right back, guys. Ripping it right back. Another short trap right here. And honestly, the reason for that is, I mean, if you guys look at this, just so you can understand kind of the technical analysis behind this, guys. This was the pre-market high right here, 1176, and there's a lot of people, you know, who are trying to buy that breakout. And when it goes over 1176 and immediately flushes, like immediately rips back down, that is a very bearish sign. So anyone who bought this breakout is now, you know, I mean, if you buy this breakout here at 1176, within a minute, you're down, I mean, $1.50 a share, or at least $1 a share, which is insane. So, you know, most short sellers are thinking, wow, that's a really bearish signal. I'm going to continue to load up short here. But instead of breaking down, it just ripped right through those highs. And that's probably the time, if you're shorting, to be like, nah, this thing, I got to be done, man. I got to be done. And you know, from there it just kept going. It just kept going, and it wouldn't stop. And I almost longed it right here, but I decided not to. And I gotta start listening to those little gut instincts. Even just take 100 shares, man, risking $100, $200 if it dumps all the way down to 10 or something. But I mean, it ended up ripping a lot from there. So not surprising, but this is what happens when you get a short squeeze, man. This is what happens when you get a short squeeze. I know a lot of short sellers who took some big losses on this. You know, even some smaller accounts took some huge losses on this. You know, 80% losses. They shorted, you know, at $9 and covered at $18. Like, it's just crazy, guys. This is why you gotta cut your losses, because you never know how high a stock can go. And kind of along those lines, guys, that brings me to LWLG. And if you saw my video yesterday, you probably expected this thing to do pretty much what it did today. And I mean, it pretty much did exactly what I said it was going to do. It dumped a tiny bit at open, immediately ripped past, and then just grinded higher the whole day and went from, you know, around 12 where it closed all the way up to 15. And I mean, literally check the title of my YouTube video yesterday, from 12 to 15 LWLG. Like, I nailed this thing. And the reason for that is, guys, it's so manipulated. And if you look at this chart, oh my God, like it should not be continuing to go. It really should not. And again, I double checked the market cap, guys. The market cap is now $1.55 billion on this stock. And guess who has more revenue than this company? The lemonade stand of your neighbor's 5-year-old daughter. Because this company has $0 in revenue. So if she sells 1 cup of lemonade for 50 cents, she has more revenue than this $1.55 billion company. Yet, for some reason, it doesn't want to take. Now, obviously, guys, what goes straight up must come back down. So this will have a big pullback. It will. I am positive. I don't know when it will happen. I don't know if this thing runs to 20 tomorrow, or if it runs to 25 tomorrow, or if it just tanks tomorrow and 15 is the top. I have absolutely no idea. Again, the more green days in a row we get, the more likely it is that it's the top. But I mean, if you want to see an example of that, just look at DPLS, man. This thing went really insane, had a blow the top off day, and then started fading, went red, and had a huge panic day. So I mean, I can zoom in here so you guys can see a little bit better. I mean, this chart kind of looks a little bit similar, except the main thing that I prefer about DPLS was the fact that every single day the volume was increasing. That is what I like about DPLS, and that's what made it so nice to trade. Now, the unfortunate thing about LWLG is that the volume is really not that great. The volume is really not, it's not like it's increasing. It's not really accelerating a ton, which is what makes this a little different from your typical short. So until we know for sure that it's backside, guys, it's going to be tough to be super aggressive. So what I would love to see is this thing go full supernova. Not that, $1.40 to 15, 10x is not already full supernova. But I would love to see this thing go absolutely insane, below the top off of like 20 bucks, maybe go to 25 bucks with huge volume, and then that would be a great short, because that is typically, where the top is coming in. So if it can do that, blow the top off, and then have intraday pattern, that kind of looks like this, where it starts like grinding up, but then like can't break out past a level, I personally would start shorting it there, risking that it's going to keep blowing the top off, because at a certain point, it's just worth it from a risk-reward perspective to take big size, even if you eat a big loss due to slippage. If this thing goes to 25 and then starts looking like this tomorrow, like, it's just up so much, I have to short it. History tells me I can't do anything other than short this thing. So I have no idea how high this goes. I really don't have a prediction for tomorrow. I think 15 could be the top. I think it could also blow the top off and be past 20 tomorrow. I really have no idea, but I'm ready to short it whenever it wants to happen. I also have been longing this thing on some of these dips, because you can see it just like it won't break down. Every single time it just makes a higher high and just keeps grinding. So at some point it's going to make a lower high and a lower low, and it's going to be great. And at that point I'll be shorting. But until then, these dips are just an opportunity to buy it, because it just pops back so easily. You buy 500 shares here, man. That's 500 bucks on that bounce almost. So it's pretty wild. So that is it for that ticker. Repo, I gotta pull this one up, because this stock, oh my God, I did not expect this to have such a crazy day two, and I missed out on pretty much this entire move here, which really sucks, because I'm always distracted when market opens and there's so many plays going on. So like I made a little bit on this move, but like, oh my God, I mean, insane move, guys. This thing dropped to 22 and ran from 22 up to, pretty much straight up to 53, 54. So, it more than doubled. And again, guys, I said this could likely have a 100% bounce tomorrow in my video yesterday. But what I expected was a fade off, maybe down to 10, and then a bounce to 20. Today, it ran from, it bounced from 22 up to over 50. That's more than 100% bounce, which is insane. And it sucks, because like you take just 10,000 shares there, golly, that's $3,000. If you get 50,000 shares on that dip, that's just so much money. It's just wild. So I love stocks that have this type of volatility, tons of opportunities, but you can also get screwed. And I ended up getting screwed later on in the day when somehow 10,000 shares long appeared in my account from a 44 average right here, and I ended up cutting, you know, right here because I didn't want those shares. I have no idea how they got there. I checked before. I had no pending orders. I didn't get filled on anything, so they just appeared in my account. I don't know how, but I ended up cutting them for like a $400 or $500 loss right before it bounces back here, which was really, really frustrating. So that kind of took the wind out of my sails on the day. But it is what it is. You know, trading is like that, and I'm not going to buy and bag hold something from 44 cents when it's up from 2 cents, you know, the other day. So you got to take your losses like a champ and move on. So that was, you know, that was the main issue that I had today was on this stock. But there were still some nice dip buys. So I think overall I was still positive on this ticker, but definitely annoying. But the one that I want to show you guys was HCYT, and this one had such a crazy run. I mean, it just absolutely exploded this morning. I guess technically it wasn't an 1,000% run if it was from 3 point something cents all the way up to 28 cents, 29 cents. My bad. I thought it was 1,000% run. I guess it came close, maybe 800 or something like that, 700%. But what's weird about this one is that it didn't have any really type of bounce whatsoever. So it started to have some basing action kind of in this area, and I really thought it may bounce off of 10 cents. And then same thing right here, but it just kept fading off towards the end of the day. Tried to bounce a little bit here, but really didn't rip. Like, this is the type of thing that tomorrow potentially could have a really nice bounce, guys, because it's a huge pullback. So, like, I got to be watching this thing carefully because tomorrow with, you know, more volume at market open, this thing could easily pick up and it could double from here. I mean, it could go from 8 cents to 16 cents. I would not be surprised to see that. Do I expect it to rip past these highs here? Probably not. But, you know, this is just one you want to keep on your radar because of that very reason. Another stock that had a really nice breakout today was MJWL. And, you know, if I go look at the daily chart here, you can see it just continued, guys, ever since it broke out past there. And it's getting more and more overextended, which is great because there are actually shares to short on this. So I didn't make much in my Schwab until kind of the end here. Unfortunately, I didn't really get filled much size. I think I only ever had 10K shares, but it really dumped nicely. Nailed the dip buy here. I'm not sure if I got the reshort here, but then I think I nailed the dip buy here and then nailed a short here. So there was just a lot of opportunity on MJWL. I love the volatility like that. If it wants to go down, up, you know, and not be choppy, I'm totally fine with that. I love those types of moves. The only thing is when you get these stocks like ALPP, and this is one that just really annoyed me. So they had a tweet that basically came out and they were saying, we're talking to some company about getting uplisted to a better exchange. That's a good thing. But we've had a lot of stocks recently where they'll put out news that should be decent. They get a tiny spike of volume as I buy, and I guess, you know, maybe a few other people buy, and then it just starts panicking, man. Very weird. So unfortunately, I took a small loss here, like $80 loss, because I bought, and then it just decided it wanted to sell off. Unfortunately, I didn't short it when it broke low a day here on good news because, you know, people start panicking when something panics on good news. It just doesn't make sense. But, you know, it is what it is. And I also had a nice dip buy on one of these down here. So that was nice, but just crazy, man. Crazy to see that happen. Another stock that I think a lot of us nailed today was HTZGQ. And if you were in the Discord, hopefully you banked on this on the short side. If you have Fidelity as your brokerage, you can't short this at Schwab because they had no shares. You can't short this at E-Trade because I don't know if they won't let you short OTC stocks, but I couldn't short on either of those, and I'm banned from Fidelity, so I couldn't short this today. But we had a lot of people in the Discord who were banking on this on the short side. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, just a massive panic from 9.55 pretty much down to 8. I mean, it's just insane, absolutely insane. So some guys made, you know, a lot of money. So I'm grateful to help guide you guys through stuff like this. And I made some money. Was it this one? I made money on one of these dip buys in the middle here. I think it was this one. I may have bought it 9.02 and sold it 9.08 or something, or 9.10. I don't know. Maybe it was this one right here. One of these I nailed, but it just kept making a new low a day. You know, every bounce would get stuffed and it would just make a new low a day. And then it just went into like utter panic here. You know, from 8.60s all the way down to 8. Absolutely insane. And then, you know, here it saw a really nice bounce. I actually started dip buying this too soon. I started dip buying, I think at 8.20, I want to say. But because of that, you know, I was sized in a little too big from 820. So when it came down here, I added about 1,000 shares at 803. But then when it bounced up, I sold them all on this first candle because I was just, you know, I was worried this thing may break up down under 8. And honestly, in hindsight, I think I should have been more patient on the bounce. And that was my biggest mistake here because I did talk about this, the fact that HTZGQ, you know, they're coming out of their bankruptcy plan. And basically what they voted on is giving current shareholders warrants and cash that are valued at about $8. So like warrants for the future as well as like $1.80 or something like that in cash. And because of that, you know, because it's valued at about $8 per share, it doesn't make sense that this thing would panic from $9.50 down to $8 and then keep going when the shareholder value should be $8 a share. You know, that's already a huge sell-off. So it makes sense that it should bounce a little more than from 8 to 820. So I should have been more patient with that. I guess what I was worried about was that it would just come back down to 8 and I would have to eat those losses. So I would rather, you know, get out at 820 than get out at 8 and eat a big loss. So I guess, you know, that's probably part of why I did it. But I wasn't expecting a bounce this big. But, you know, it's just a great setup, guys. I love panic dip buys. I wish I could have shorted this, but you can short them on the way down and then buy them on the way up. And then this, you know, this bounce here got overextended, and I called this one out really nicely. You know, if you can short over 870, it's a great entry. A lot of guys nailed this one because that was a huge pullback. You know, you short at 870, you cover a minute later at like 845, 850. It's still a great short, man. It's still a great short. So absolutely loved what we got out of that ticker today. I'm not sure if starting tomorrow they're going to be, you know, a different ticker. You know, they're going to be out of bankruptcy. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. But I'm excited to see that, you know, Hertz shares jump as bankruptcy exit nears. So, like, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. But I'm excited to see. I'm trying to see if there were any other stocks that I was trading. Ooh, I got to talk about the swing trades real quick. For those of you guys who made it to the end, I'm swinging a couple of stocks. If you're not in the Discord, you would already know about this if you were in the Discord. But HQGE, I'm swinging this stock, guys. And they actually had a little bit of news today. It doesn't seem to have affected the price much. But if you look at this chart, guys, it's a pretty decent chart for a swing. Just because, in my opinion at least, you know, it definitely needs some volume to move. But I feel like the downside risk is pretty low if you're getting in from this area. You know, from 26, 25, 27, 28, anywhere in there, honestly, is a pretty decent entry because it would not take that much to get this stock, you know, up to the 0.4 range. And if you do that, you know, that's a pretty decent gain. So that's kind of my plan on this one. All it would take is a little bit of volume, and this thing would see a nice run. So that's what I'm hoping for on this one. And I mean, I love charts that go supernova and then find some basing action. That is what I love. So that's what I'm hoping for on this one. I'm also swinging some AITX. I may regret it. You know, it may crack 6 here and see a little bit of a pullback, but it does seem to be basing pretty nicely in that 6 area. So I did swing some from 603, I believe, like 100,000 shares. I don't know if I want to risk, you know, like 590 or if I want to risk all the way down here at 5. I'm really not sure. I kind of would prefer not to risk that much in case it does end up breaking down here. But I feel like there's a chance that this base is here and then sees another pop and potentially gets above that 9-cent area. So could be interesting. So I'm swinging that one. And there was one other stock that I'm swinging. I can't remember. Well, I guess I'm swinging a lot of stocks. Let's see if I can see it. Yeah, so I actually am swinging some AVVH, guys. I may regret it. You know, it may have some more red days, but I kind of just want to keep an eye on it. It feels like it's basing pretty nicely in here. You know, it feels like it's basing pretty darn nicely around this 5-cent area. So I'm long, what am I long? I'm long 100,000 shares just in this area. See if we can pop back up. You know, I don't need a huge pop-up. I'm not trying to hold through all-time highs there, but I'd love to see, you know, 7 cents or something. Even 7 cents would be $2 profit. So I would take that, and hopefully this support holds. If not, I mean, I guess it'll keep panicking, but at least I can short it as well until it finds a base, and then I'll swing it again. So that's the plan on that one, and it's pretty much it. ILUS had a great day today. Ended up breaking back under 7, but you know, I'm swinging this hopefully long term. I got 200,000 shares, and you know, if I were gonna take some gains, I would have taken some today, but more than likely I'll just re-add if it gets back under 6. You know, maybe under 5.5 in my opinion is a great add, and hopefully it just keeps pushing because it looks like it did break that downtrend there. So that's a really good sign. I think it could break above 7.8. See an explosive 8-cent breakout. Maybe see a really big green candle above 10 cents at some point. So that's something I'm looking out for. MIDI, again, guys, still just consolidating. I don't know if you guys, oh, you probably didn't see. Basically, they're still on track. If you want to go look up the new Goldman small cap research, they're still on track. They're still doing great. They're actually ahead of schedule. They should have like 7 or 8 locations open and running by the end of the year, which means that they should have, you know, above 10 million in revenue, maybe 15, 20 million in revenue for next year. So should be really exciting. They're working with insurance carriers, getting all that stuff set up so they can get paid by accepting people. So it's going to be awesome. And I'm not selling what I have. I'm considering adding more at the 20 mark. I kind of want to see if it'll go any lower, you know, maybe add a lot heavier down here if it does want to do that. But it definitely could pop back up if it catches any type of volume. So I'm just not sure. I'm really not sure. Worst case scenario, I'm happy with what I have. I got a lot of money invested in MIDI for the long term, so I'm excited to see what it can do. And that's pretty much it in terms of that, guys. So yeah, I mean, I think that's it. If there was something else, there is one more thing before I go. I did remember DPLS. When you see a stock like this, you know, normally it's just going to fade on off. But the fact that it's really been consolidating nicely between 7 and 8, to me indicates that, like, it could potentially have a pretty explosive breakout, especially if you can get some volume. So if this thing gets over 8 cents, guys, in my opinion, it should see a really nice run. Could potentially even break these highs here, break 10 cents, and maybe have another couple huge green days like this. So I'm watching this one very, very carefully. I'm also down to short it, guys. I'm not too biased either way, but you know, I'm down to do whatever on this stock. So I'm ready. I'm prepared. If it breaks out over 8, that's a buy in my opinion. Otherwise, it's just kind of choppy. So if it gets a little overextended in one direction, you can trade it the other way. You know, get a dip buy, get a short on one of these extensions. So that's it. Long video. I apologize for that, but lots of info to talk about. So I'll see you in the next one. Until then, you know the drill. Let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú por mí sientes.